Mike. Right, about to get this party started. Break it down, break it down, break it down. Break it down. All right, all right. We're going to get this party started tonight. How's everybody doing? If you can hear me in the chat, put a 1 in the chat so we know what's going on. So we know the party's about to get started. You know how we do it here. I'm going to start the snitching off quickly. You know, back in the day, they said snitches get stitches. That's probably one of the worst sayings that happened to the Black community because that really stopped justice, in my opinion. Right now, I'd like to get some shout outs out of the way. We have Gold Reflection in the house, Phoenix Soul in the house, Marcy D in the house, Bridget Mouton in the house. Welcome, everybody. We are going to get this party started quick soon. Here we go.
What up, y'all? This is For No Fame. We got an R. Kelly update.
Pretty Bones in the house.
Now, everybody knows that R. Kelly is on trial right now in Chicago on child porn charges. He is also facing life. This is the trial that is dealing with the sex tape that was recorded with a 14-year-old minor at the time, and now she's 37. You know, the trial is still going on. It's not getting too much coverage, but it is now being said that it was spoken of R. Kelly potentially might be ready to tell on other celebrities that he was cool with within the 1990s and the 2000s. And
we all know who they are. You know, the funny thing is that, you know, when it comes to what these dudes do, the Diddy, I call it the Diddy, birds of a feather. They all did the same thing. They weren't going to snitch on each other because they were all doing the same thing. But when the gig is up, guess what? Their true character shows.
We know a lot of the people he was affiliated with. We just saw the picture the other day with Irv Gotti.
Welcome, Feisty.
And Ashanti was at the R. Kelly concert. Because we know at this time, a lot of them hung together. We know that Jay-Z, Dame Dash, and others.
Mistress Newbie in the house.
You know, they had the Best of Both Worlds tour. We know within B2K, so many different groups and acts because we know they all ran together at that time. But they saying that being that R. Kelly is facing life, and if he gets locked up, he will be an official sex offender. Therefore, he fears for his life, and he does not want to do life in jail. So they're saying that he is prepared to tell any information on previous crimes dealing with sexual behavior, dealings with minors, as well as any type of criminal activity. So we see how this is playing out. That R. Kelly is ready to bring people down. A lot of us already had this thought that he was going to eventually do.
So it's funny to me that the men that these other men respect the most do everything that no one respects. Now, me myself, it's like this. It's like this. If somebody does a crime, they should do the time. The problem in our community, that's not the case. Nobody, I looked it up. Did you know that only 50% of deletions are solved? Deletions, 50% of deletions are solved, 50 are not. That is a painful odd that a lot of these low lives will take. And a lot of it has to do with the snitch culture. It has to do with the lack of people who are willing not to snitch, okay, but are willing not to say anything to let crimes be committed. And that's really super unfair. It's messed up for the community. So the funny thing is this is that it seems to me that the community itself is bending backwards on itself. We are doing everything we can to ruin it when you think about it. Not telling people, I mean, the thing is this, if there's street justice, which is very, as you can see, it's bad because you see all they do is go back and forth, and it's usually just two gangs going against each other. And if somebody gets caught in the crossfire, so be it. That's street justice. That's supposed to be street justice. It's not like everything ends after that person. Then that person's cousin, and then that cousin's cousin keeps going on. So I don't get what's going on with that. So let me keep going down the line on this. I want to break it down what's really going on. Here we go.
When people are out here doing these things, they don't realize what you do to people and how you affect people.
With growing concern over Columbus's murder rate, 10 investigators found parts of the city where murders consistently go unsolved.
I just pray that we don't lose no more, of our young people. This is crazy.
As part of a months-long investigation, our team analyzed and mapped more than 650 homicides dating back 5 years.
And thanks for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Clay Gordon.
I'm Tracy Townsend. Andrew and Yolanda are off tonight. Let's get right to our chief investigative reporter, Bennett Haverly, who's stringing together the common thread that's robbing families of justice.
This is a tough thing the city is going through right now. I mean, the rate is outrageous for the number of lives. Lose a kid is hard. There is no recovery.
And it's going to keep going. And it's going to keep going. The bottom line is this, is that there's two ways of solving this problem in the community. Together, that is not what you would call snitching, but that's what all the criminals want to sell it as. They want to sell doing the right thing as snitching. That's what they're going to do. If you hear of a person, of a man saying, complaining about people snitching on him, probably because he did something he shouldn't have been doing. Not minor. I don't mean like little things. I mean like big things. And they're swimming in it. They are swimming in the culture of no snitching.
It's hard. So wake up, people. Enough's enough.
Across Columbus,
we are killing off our own people. We are killing off our own.
so many are talking about violence.
When people are out here doing these things, they don't realize what you do to people and how you affect people.
Just had another murder. You watch TV over and over and over. This is happening.
Talking over their grandson's grave. Talking from living rooms where their loved ones no longer sit.
It's painful. I get angry. I'm very angry.
There's talk from city leaders about what should be done.
One of the most important things that the community can do is share information with law enforcement.
But our investigation found it may be a lack of talking, a street code that pushes silence over cooperation with police that is causing so many murders here to remain unsolved.
No one's going to tell on nobody out there.
People heard her cry for help, but I think people are too afraid to get involved.
There's a lot of people out here scared.
Look no further than just above the tree lines to spot what we are talking about.
All right, let's check this out. Here are the numbers, folks. Here we go.
Found more than deserts, and they span from the North End to North Linden to a South Side apartment complex and the Hilltop, where unsolved murders are sprinkled from block to block. This map shows every murder in Columbus since 2017. The red dots represent unsolved cases. The blue are those cleared by arrests.
Wow. Did you see that? It's almost like 50-50. And these criminals are out here thinking, you know something? I got a 50-50 chance to get away.
With more than 650 homicides over the past 5 years, police have made arrests in a little more than 1 out of every 2.
I think they keep this thing to themselves, all those women and people that live on the streets, that they don't say things. They're scared to say things.
Tina Griffey's daughter, Ashley Sweeney, was found dumped in a Hilltop alleyway this summer. Her family acknowledges Ashley had lived a rough life. A history of minor criminal charges, drugs, and prostitution, all of it was in her background. Described as a selfless soul who helped others, her family has heard rumors, but doesn't know concretely who killed Ashley or why.
The week she got murdered, we were supposed to go to Jackson Lake and just go have fun and go camping together.
That's so sad to hear. You know, it's crazy because really it's quite simple. If she was in that life, there's only really, believe it or not, 5 options. Crime, in my opinion, people who play the game, who are within the game of whatever that game, that whatever that life is. Mistress Newby breaks it down like this: they don't want to snitch until it happens to one of their family members, and then they are begging the community to tell the police. Bars, exactly that.
Together.
Her death isn't the only unsolved murder in this family. Ashley's cousin, James Johnson, died after being shot at this gas station in October of 2020. Their families recently held a vigil at this Sunoco.
And I want some justice for James and all the other young men and women out there that have suffered the same fate he has. I can't even believe.
Dang, he kind of looks like rough. He was in that life. That's what happens. Too many young men think they can swim in that life and get out. And it doesn't work. Just simply doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
I believe I'm standing here This is like my wildest nightmare.
Their deaths are among a half dozen murders still unsolved in this area of the hilltop, all within a half mile of each other. James Johnson's mother, Brenda.
Nobody's going to talk if they think they're next.
What is it about, you think, the no snitching, the no talking, the code of the streets? How much do you think of that is at play in cases like your son's?
Oh, 99.9. I do.
You think it's a big factor?
It's a big factor. Nobody will talk. There's a lot of people that knows. I know they know. I know who knows, but they won't talk.
We found similar stories among other families of murder victims.
DeJuan used to tell me, Paul, snitches get stitches. He used to tell me that all the time.
Lit Howard's grandson, DeJuan Lewis Taylor, was shot along this sidewalk in late September of 2020. He was 15. Lit and his wife, Tony, have no idea who is responsible. What role do you think no snitching plays?
A lot. I believe there's a lot of people that know stuff regarding whether what happened to DeJuan or anyone else. And again, I don't know if it's so much the fear or people's alliance to the streets, you know.
Weeks before his...
That's a good point. I like the way she put that. Alliance to the streets. Because nobody in the streets really trusts each other. So there has to be something that they believe in. And unfortunately, it's the streets in itself.
His death, DeJuan ran away from a youth behavioral treatment program and was shot outside a house near Morse Road, where Tony later learned he had been staying. On the one-year anniversary of his death, the family gathered at DeJuan's grave.
What did he say? You know, he was there by himself. You know, did he cry out for Mama? Did he cry out for Papa? But God bless and let me know there was someone that was beside DeJuan. A lady told me that DeJuan cried out for salvation.
In a county two-thirds white, nearly two-thirds of Columbus murder victims since 2017 have been Black.
I hate to say that. I think we as a people feel like that certain people or certain entities feel like as if that's one less Black person. I have heard that before.
Ray Riggins and her friend.
They might think that. The sad part is so do Black people. They say the same thing. I've heard some of these men in the red pill system say that. So, and it's usually about women though who pass. And I guarantee you not a lot of these dudes out here, a lot in the red pill are part of that no snitch culture themselves. Let me keep it going.
Friend Tylisha Reed lost their friend Sade Payne this past spring. Shot outside of this home. Her death piles onto the grief these women already hold. Both told me they've lost loved ones to gun violence, cases that also remain unsolved.
No, most of them are losing them to bandits, really, when you think about it. If you were to look at the stats on the purveyors of these deletions, it's quite clear where the problem is. And instead of us men in the manosphere, no, in the manosphere too, yeah, actually, instead of the men in our community solving the problem, we blame the women. Go figure. Let me keep it going.
And for someone to take somebody that's so near and dear to us, because she was there for me when my brother died. She was there for me multiple times.
I do not care what that victim was doing at the time they were murdered. They were murdered.
We shared our findings with Homicide Commander Robert Strasbaugh, who told us our investigation mirrors the problems that have plagued the streets for years. So this metastasizes.
Oh God,
That's what
it's like a cancer.
While no snitching is an issue, he told us equally troubling are retaliation killings, or the deep-seated mistrust of working with police. He pointed to the recent shootings at Bicentennial Park and the Eastside Rec Center as examples where hundreds of potential witnesses were present. His message:
I would say, give us a chance. If you want to put anything on the news or in your story, give us a chance. Give us a chance with good evidence to put the person who killed your loved one or anyone in your community in front of a judge.
But fear is still a powerful force. This mother, whose son was killed a few hundred feet from other fatal shootings, asked that we conceal her identity. Why are you afraid?
Just because I'm afraid every day. Because I mean, it's whoever these killers are.
So here's a question I have. It's like we like to brag about. You heard Umar himself say, "Oh yeah, black men, we have we can provide protection, but we can't provide provision." He said that, but I don't think there's any clear evidence to show that we can do either one right now. And that's the funny thing is like if black men, if we in general want to be respected by not only black women but other cultures, we have to show a certain value to safety, public safety, and we don't do that right now. It's like it seems like our bad tempers get the best of us. Here we go.
Are we don't know the reason. That's the main thing I want to know is why. When I have the day to look them in their eyes, I want to know why took my son from me, and I don't feel safe because how do I know they don't want me dead or my whole family dead?
The city is on a path to set another record in 2021, a city where silence begets more violence. Bennett Haberly, 10 Investigates.
Yeah, I mean, it's all bad. Just in case you are in the Ohio area, I'm gonna leave this up for a minute. I mean, to let a community go to the wayside just because you're mad at, let's say, law enforcement, or you want to play the game in the streets or whatever, it's terrible. So I'm sorry, fellas, but we are the ones who are going to provide, protection and provision and all that kind of crap, and you're not doing it. I mean, what's the point? Then what's left? It's a false hope. Let me break out and just see what old Umar talking about. Here we go. Pause that just in case that beat is here. Okay, so I'm gonna move back there. This is from Hawk TV. Here we go.
Let's go to Brother A. Brother A, are you there?
Hey, what's going on?
Where you joining us from, King?
I'm in Virginia right now, but I live in Brooklyn, New York, best stop.
Yes, sir.
I'm en route to Atlanta, but I made a stop at Virginia. So I'm in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia right now.
Well said, my brother. So we didn't discuss wealth. We didn't discuss the solution of black on black crime. Should we reverse the stop snitching code? Is it okay to floss as long as you have a budget? What are we going to do to trap the black dollar in the black community? What are we going to do about all these missing females? What are we going to do to build some institutions? Because we own absolutely nothing except restaurants and hair salons. You could take any part of the conversation, brother. What's your contribution to the solutions discussion?
First off, I want to give you your flowers, give my salutations. I love the fact that you speak truth to power. I love the fact that you get on large platforms and hold it down for us.
Thank you, brother.
There's a lot of times you say things that will come literally from my head. I'm like, dang. And it's rare that you get brothers like yourself that make it to that platform that speak for us. So I want to say that to you.
Appreciate you.
I also want to touch on the topic of to affect change. Like there's so many words that we use today. You said Band-Aid. So the stop snitching or the true snitch is like putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. So I'm prevention versus cure. I want to prevent the situation and cure the situation. Okay, then somebody said something about the savages and doing heinous crimes, and then somebody said that it's the community that created the savages, but we also got to understand somebody created the community. So there was the wealth gap. See, there's a lot of people, like, I think everybody on the panel should or would know. I think.
I can already hear it now. They're starting to think up excuses. Here we go.
I follow you enough to know that when I'm speaking, you we on the same type of time.
Yes, sir.
You well versed on it. So I'm preaching to the choir by talking to you. So
Yes, sir.
I'm just saying, some people, we need to free our minds. We need to become independent thinkers, free thinkers. We need to break the shackles of mental slavery. I don't have the answer. That's like the answer to aid. The minute that we could free our minds, people you can't feed like potatoes. You gotta give them applesauce. You gotta give them. You can't give them complex energy.
I'm kind of curious to see where this guy is going, but he's sure taking a long time to get there. You know what I mean?
His name is Dr. Umar. So you reach doctor status. There's people that's able to bottle this up and package it in an applesauce type of way.
Yes, sir. Give me some specifics on how to do that. Give us some digestible.
I can't give the answer to that.
I feel you. I feel you.
I want to be a part of the solution. So instead of harping on the problem, let's think of it and brainstorm and come up with ideas of the solution. So one solution would be, okay, if you look at any other community that has been oppressed, because they like to say they, who is they? The adversary, the oppressor.
Mm-hmm.
The Hasidic Jews in Brooklyn, New York, Williamsburg, they have a rabbi. They have, they're monolithic.
Influences all decisions made. All other groups have a collective consciousness that influences all decisions made by individuals.
What do you
That
all
doesn't-
think about that? A collective consciousness. I kind of see what he is saying, but I don't think it's true. I think what it is that everybody in the other cultures have a common goal, and one of the main goal is progression for the whole community, not just for one person. They don't see the problem is in our community, and it's built into our culture because hip hop culture has always been about, oh, I'm down for myself. In fact, many people are lauded for saying, yeah, yeah, he's down for himself. He's trying to make his own money. He doesn't care about other people. We've had other men come into our chat and say that. Um, Big Cap himself has said, "Oh yeah, I'm here for I focus on my family and that's it." And he said that many a times, and he's quite proud of saying it. The problem is that doesn't help the community at all. I mean, the only way it helps is that okay, he's minding his own business. He's not trying to cause any more problems. But at the same time, I've seen him swim in spaces that there are people who do cause problems. So it's hard for me to really look at that as a solution, and I'm not trying to single him out. I'm just singling him as really a doggone common example in our community. He basically goes out there. I mean, and many men like him and say, I'm just down for myself." Well, then, okay, you're great inside your house until your house gets raided, or until something nearby your house happens, or until something happens at a near when your loved ones is at a nearby, gas station or store. So what do you do about that? See, other cultures don't think about it like that. They think about, okay, we if we see something going on or going wrong, we gonna snitch. That's how they think. They really do. Very very rarely are they going, and the problem is that it can be they are very picky about what they snitch. They're not very well, let me put it this way, they're not very picky about what they snitch about. You can be just smoking a cigarette, and it's like, "Huh, is that weed? Is that," and they'll cause problems. That's how picky they are. That's how low their threshold is. Our threshold in our community is very high. People can know some woman's getting beat up. Some people can know that a guy is selling D, you know, drugs. Some people can know that these guys are about to commit something. We don't. Nope. Yeah, well, he hasn't done nothing yet. Meanwhile, in other cult communities, and why their communities are so much safer, it's like, you better watch out for this guy. They're the first ones on the phone. So there's not much you can do. There's not much you can do unless you do what you can do. And people are not willing to even do what they can do. There's only so many cameras you can put in an area.
Doesn't mean that every European Jew makes a decision that's in the best interest of European Jews. But he damn sure thought about the impact it would have on his people. And you know why? Not only because he loves his people, but his people will offer him a consequence for dysfunctional behavior. You see, Mexicans, Arabs, Chinese, Anglo-Saxons, all decisions made by the individuals, they always consider the group. I didn't say the decision was in the best interest of the group all the time, but they damn sure considered the group. If for nothing else, there will be consequences for going against the best interests of the people. We are the only group in the country and probably race in the world that does not offer systemic consequences and rewards to its people when they do right or do wrong. But I got a question.
Bars, think about it. Think long and hard about this. Our most lauded icons in our community are totally trash, really, when you think about it. They started there, and they're still there. R. Kelly, Diddy, Jay-Z. I mean, Charleston White. Look at who we protect. They have all done raw shit before. I mean, and some of them been doing it recently. And those are just those guys that we know. How about the folks in the community that are doing right now? And we're still giving them some a pass. We are in big trouble, folks. Let me keep it going. Here we go.
Question for you, brother. Hey, I'm gonna throw this at you. Then I'm gonna get brother Sahar to respond before we move on to Bam, Tefa, Noma, Cheryl, Simone, and Reggie. And that is this: a lot of people on Facebook right now, because I'm simulcasting on Facebook and fan base. But some of the brothers and sisters on Facebook, brother A, they're saying we need to buy houses. Now, I'm not against nobody buying a house. I'm not against nobody owning a home. I understand it can be a path to wealth building. I get it. I understand the wealth gap between black folks and white folks right now has a lot to do with the lack of home ownership we had the past 30 years. But here's my concern. When people say every black person need to buy a house, here's my concern. It almost reminds me of when they say every black kid need to go to college. The problem with telling everybody to buy a house and telling everybody to go to college is these are often investments that so many of our brothers and sisters do not reap a benefit from. How many of us know folks who took out a 30-year mortgage on a house and got hit with the variable interest rate and they wasn't able to pay?
This is where he and I split. Okay. First of all, college and home ownership reap much more benefits than anything else. Maybe owning a business, but that's on the top of the list as well. So, and you would think that he would want to endorse that and say the big question is, how do you get there? He's the one trying to build a school, right? Well, why are you building a school for? So you can get people prepared to go to the next level, so they can learn more, so they can stay out of trouble. So I'm not digging this right here. Let me play a little bit more. Here we go.
To pay it off. I mean, look at gentrification right now. Gentrification is taking homes back from Black folks who were damn near done paying them off, or were completely done paying them off but couldn't afford the property tax. So
See, that's the thing. That's really, quite honestly, gentrification comes in after the damage is done. And what I mean is this: before gentrification kicks in, remember now, gentrification really is just a monopoly of financial deficit. A financial deficit usually caused because of usually the violence in that given community. And what happens is this: gentrification, the theory of gentrification is this: we can't just send one rich person and that of a different color into that community. They won't stay because they have no cover. So we need to go in droves and literally reinvent that neighborhood. And the problem is that they wouldn't be able to do it if we were flourishing in our neighborhood. They wouldn't be able to do it. So gentrification, I know it's messed up because they should have really took the gentrification money and helped out our community in making it better. But at the same time, gentrification is a cheaper way of rebuilding neighborhoods. That's how they see it. I know that because I came from and lived in one of the gentrification meccas in the United States, which is Oakland. Oh, you can't afford to live there? Oh, well, these people are causing all the crime around here. Tell you, I'm gonna, who got these brand new buildings and these brand new jobs that were supposed to be for Black folks. We're gonna hire them instead, and they're gonna buy your house, and you're gonna be happy with it. And then you gonna have to move 20 or 30 miles out in one direction or the other, or even move to another state. That's what's going down. I mean, the problem is what's the key problem is what's allowing gentrification to take hold. That's the problem. And the problem is no snitching. Because see, when gentrification happens, all those people that didn't get snitched on, they have to leave too. You know what I mean? They have to leave too. They can't stay, especially when there's people that Asian people, they will call the cops in a minute. You do not smoke a doobie in front of their house. You'll see what happens. Unless they smoking doobies too, you getting called on. Okay? So that's why those communities start doing better, because the people who wouldn't snitch get kicked out, and then people who would snitch move in. It's wrong, but it's the way it is. So in those communities that you thought was like a no snitch community, when it's not a no snitch community, by golly gee willigers, the crime rate goes down, believe it or not. I wonder why. That's called when keeping it real is wrong. I mean, when keeping it real goes wrong. You keep it real, you don't snitch, everything's trash. Snitch culture snitch culture moves in, no snitching culture moves out, crime goes down. It's that simple. It's that painfully simple. So you can be, one of those non-snitchers, but just pack your bags. Because if you want to live in a good area, if you live in one of those areas that could be good, well, your time is limited. So yeah, I mean, I am not a fan at all of gentrification, but you have to you have to respect its design. It's designed to bring in people that are gonna snitch. And it's the one of the most effective ways of fighting crime.
So, although I admit and I submit that home ownership is still a potential solution for individuals, it can also be a trap, just like.
No, there's nothing. Let me break. This is so ignorant right here. And I'll tell you why. Do you know that in most areas now, that the price of buying the home is the same or cheaper than renting somebody else's location? It is really filled with pure stupidity if you are renting in most cases. I'm not calling you stupid, just the theory that this man is coming out with. Because I a lot of people a doggone down payment of $20,000, $30,000, $10,000, $15,000 is just not in the mix. Okay. So I understand and respect that. But to literally try to convince people not to buy property and still pay the same amount monthly you would for someplace you do not own is a problem.
Work for individuals, but as a community solution, telling people to go to college as a superficial solution, I don't know if that is necessarily what we should do. What's your opinion,
I
bro?
can't believe he's telling people one of the most lucrative things you can do with your money is useless. That's pretty amazing to me. Pretty Bones breaks it down like this. I own 5 properties, and the issue with that is that the community is trash. Your property loses value. Bars. That is true. That is true. Pretty Bones. True Pretty Bones, Mrs. Newbie. This is from Mistress Newbie. That is why I own a home in a Caucasian, in a gentrified community. Exactly. That's how it goes down. Because you can't control the if you can't control the beast of the community, which is violence, you can't control how much your house is going to be worth. Pretty Bones breaks it down like this. Some of my properties increased in value, and that's because what Caucasians are moving in, and some are losing value because blacks moved in and aren't keeping the properties. The properties up. Crime. Yeah. So it's quite simple. Our solution, really, it's to basically try to bend I mean, basically, really, quite honestly, ladies, you save yourselves. But for men, for us, we needed. I mean, men, we got a lot of work to do because it's not the women who are ruining the property value in our communities and allowing gentrification to kick in. It's not that. What's doing it is us. You can blame it. There's off a small with a very a small sliver has to do with police brutality. Small sliver has to do with the history and slavery and all that. But the thing is that if we ignore that and we grind, okay, look, think about it like this. If all of us, fine, you want to be all just have plumbers in our community, that's fine. We're all plumbers, right? We're all blue collar workers, right? But we're, that's not the case. We're not. Because if we were all like that, if we were all blue collar workers, law abiding citizens, the community would have value. But we're not doing that. So what is it? What do you want to call it? Let me play a little bit more and then we're gonna move on.
In brother A.
I think what's that called? Financial freedom.
Yes.
So being free, first we have to free our minds.
Okay, they don't know. Really, quite honestly, they don't know what they're talking about. Let's go and see what old you know, Charleston White has to say about the snitch theory. Here we go.
All right, guys. So I stumbled across this video I just had to share because
This is by Black Conservative Perspective. Oh, here we go.
this guy, Charleston White, who apparently used to be a former gang member turned YouTuber, is going to advocate for a solution to violence in some of these low-income communities, some of these gang-ridden communities, these violent-ridden communities. He's going to advocate for a solution that I've been advocating for a long time. Okay.
And watch. The problem is this. I'm going to tell you what the problem is right now. The problem is that we don't want to have to do the work to clean up the community. If we wanted to do the work to clean up the community would be clean. It's that simple.
Part of the solution is culture, and a part of the culture that has really been damaging these communities is the no snitching culture, right? The culture of, well, you know, if somebody gets murdered, even if the whole neighborhood know who did it,
Criminals. And unfortunately, bought into it. Here we go.
one, it makes you a snitch, or two, you know, being a snitch is dangerous. You get shot and killed, okay, if you snitch, right? And then what happens is when the snitch gets shot and killed, nobody's gonna snitch on the person that killed a.
You know what's funny is that, as you know, I mean, other cultures snitch more than we do. They don't seem to get shot. You see what I'm saying? Just saying.
To snitch, which in my opinion incentivizes more crime. It incentivizes and emboldens these gang members and these thugs that are committing these crimes because they know that they can get away with it. They know that if they commit a crime that nobody's going to go to the police. They're not going to go to jail.
Exactly. I mean, look at Diddy. Look at Diddy. Let me see if I can get to what Charleston White's talking about. Here we go.
I wanna teach and train young boys what snitching is, what telling is, and I want to create a Boy Scout organization. These niggas start telling in school. They the niggas who raise their hand and say, "Teacher, can I take names?" and tell you who talking when you leave the class.
Hey, facts. In school though, those kids that would, I'm just saying,
they the ones in the hallway writing down names in middle school, dropping notes to the principal, to the kids with the bloodshot red eyes that look like they on pills. So they can be law-abiding citizens and great neighborhood watch crime people. We need to train this. We train.
The funny thing is that this is what I was talking about. I saw somebody else doing this where they were saying that we need to do this and do that on YouTube of all places, acting like he was down for, protecting women and it was wrong for people to be running amok and doing obsidian shit. But what's funny is he let that shit go on it. He let that shit go. He let that shit go. That shit was happening literally on his own channel. Literally on his own channel. And that dude just let it go. So I'm tired of hearing these guys saying that they want to do something about the crime, but they just part of the problem. It's irritating. It gets on my nerves. Let me keep it going. Here we go.
Training killers and gangsters.
Facts. Facts. We need to start training some snitches, right? That's what we need to do.
So we need to train, nigga, some confident, snitching, tattler-telling young man that ain't scared to tell on now, mother, and teach them how to fight too. So if you with them by telling, they'll kick your ass. Yeah, we need some strong snitches, nigga. And they proud of it. That way, it helped curb the violence in the communities.
The problem is this. It sounds good. It actually sounds pretty decent. The only problem is nobody want to do it. I wouldn't be surprised if our community is outnumbered by criminals. So what are we supposed to do with that? Let me keep it going. Here we go.
You got you a snitch that know how to fight, and he'll shoot that pistol too.
Fact.
But he'll snitch. Who can beat him? Not too many people. That's who you got to put up against. That's how you combat the gang violence. That's how you combat bullying. Hey, teacher, he picking on him. Yeah, tell it in front of everybody. He make it so he'll stop.
No, the thing is that the problem is that the school snitching thing doesn't really help much. The problem is in the community. There has to be a situation where if something really bad happens, that those people who do their duty for the community, that they're clearly protected. Or at the very least that their identity is protected so that nobody knows who really did it. But we don't even do that.
He picking on him right now, teacher. It'll disrupt the class. Who doing? He here? What he doing? He just got through pinching his booty, and he told him stop, and he done it 3 times. No, that's how you.
See, that's not going to work. He's just trying to be funny because I don't hear a solution. Phoenix Soul says, I don't know, Torch. Caucasian culture snitches have convenient access. That is so true. A good example, a very good example, Phoenix Soul. By the way, great avatar. Is what was that guy? The dude who the guy who had that island for trafficking. Yeah, some people kind of like, went away. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Let me keep this going. Here we go.
That's how you break this up. Tell on a nigga ass.
Well, it's too late now, but it's too late now, but here we go.
Bruh, this is nothing but facts, okay? He is right. He is correct, bruh. You gotta start.
Here's the funny part. This guy is eating up everything Charleston White says, right? And Charleston White is a straight up criminal. But I can understand that, he's funny and stuff, but it really isn't facts because the thing is this is nobody's going to do it. The only time people snitch is when they know that from whether it be freedom because they don't have to go in for as many years as the person who actually did the crime, or some monetary value. That's just the problem is that that's how men are built now. So that's the problem.
I'm telling all these people, you got to start snitching. When you don't snitch, when you don't say anything, you encourage people to continue to commit acts of violence. That's what happens. I get it. It's dangerous to be a snitch out here, right? Especially in some of these gang ring communities. But if the whole community stands up against these people, right? These gang members, the same way a lot of these communities stand up against police, where a police put some on them the same way they combat police gang member would know, well, if I commit a crime, if I murder somebody, I'm gonna go to jail because somebody gonna snitch, right? Somebody go to the police station.
Well, a great solution on what to. Well, yeah, that is true. What he's saying, that is true. Um, either that or somebody's gonna have to change some laws, and it's gonna affect a lot of people's privacy. But for example, more cameras on the streets, in hot areas, more surveillance systems. Um, to me, I think that's where snitching is going. It's gonna go digital. It's gonna go, um, it's gonna go high tech. It couldn't go any sooner. It couldn't get here. Let's just face it.
Station and tell on me. But again, nowadays they're emboldened because they know that they can just get away with it. They can just get away with it because nobody's gonna say anything.
Niggas damn near move out the city if every.
Yeah, that's what it is. Phoenix. So yeah, there was what is it, Larry Weinstein? But there was also the guy with the island. There was some guy. Who was the dude with the island? I forgot his name. What is the name? Yeah. Mistress New. Yeah, her pick is cute, huh? It's cool. I like it. So, but anyway, back to this. Back to this. But yeah, I mean, the thing is this is that. Um, what was his name? It's killing me. He was the one whose madame went in for 20 years too. And like his customers were like Trump and like a lot of famous people, Clinton, people like that. I can't remember his name right offhand. That's crazy. I can't.
Everywhere you go, say, did you shoot that nigga? How many? Yeah, you tell.
See,
and watch
the
how
funny
many
thing
niggas.
is this is what bothers me. He's saying this right now, but I guarantee you not. Okay. This dude right here knows where a lot of bodies are buried and didn't say shit himself. Didn't say nothing. That's all bad. He's part of, I mean, and that's where the theory, the part of the problem came up. Because people are thinking they're solving a problem when they are only being part of the problem. Where was this when he was committing his crimes? Did he turn himself in? This is, I mean, it's crazy. Check this out.
Multiple homicides remain unsolved in the same neighborhoods in Memphis, and many are wondering if maybe a street code is to blame.
WREG investigator Jessica Gertler finds out why some people think people aren't talking, even in the most vicious crimes.
Yeah, this is crazy right here. This is just what's going down. Here we go.
April 17th, 2021. 15-year-old Jarvis Triplett is gunned down on his ATV near Mississippi and South Parkway.
I don't know why they would want to do this to my child.
And still, a year later, his mother has no answers. Despite the shooting happening on a well-traveled road on a clear Saturday evening, information is limited.
According to this Crime Stoppers bulletin, the shooters were in a white car, but it's unclear who was inside. Police need more information, and until they can get it, it's just another crime that remains unsolved.
50-50, folks.
Boom, 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 boom. This mother, too scared to show her face, says she woke up to drive-by shootings 3 times in 1 week on her Northeast Memphis block, injuring a man.
I did send a message citywide to be on the lookout for any shooting victims at any of the hospitals that come in.
And leaving multiple shell casings in the street. Stray bullets shattered her car window, went through her house, into her children's bed.
That's what happens in no snitching zones. That's what happens. That's it. Rat Girl. Welcome, Rat Girl. Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein. That's the one. There we go. There we go. Finally, sometimes I slip, you know. So, um, so anyway, yeah, that's crazy. Let me keep it going. Welcome, the Rackerel.
Bedroom. These pictures were taken after the third shooting on February 11th.
This time, as we're hearing the gunfire, we can hear the choo choo sound of our glass windows breaking. We run out of our room not knowing if our kids are hit or not, because like I said, we can hear the glass breaking. We jump on top of them to the floor. Luckily, they weren't hit.
She thinks people know who's responsible, but choose to remain silent. She and others across the city believe that's one reason why violent crime continues to happen. It took WR
Straight up, straight up. That's what happens. That is what happens. Let's keep it going. This is what happens, folks.
investigators months to uncover homicide data from 2017 through 2020 from the Memphis police. The unsolved cases are in the same neighborhoods, just blocks from each other. Neighborhoods, you can see homicides within miles.
We got to do better by one another.
Activist Keith Leachman has been urging people to speak out against the violence in Orange Mound, where he believes a street code exists that encourages people to not cooperate with police due to fear of retaliation or not trusting law enforcement.
Oh, they got this thing about snitches get stitches.
Yes, snitches get stitches. Still, yep. That's what they're saying. And that's what bullies say. So they can continue to do exactly what the Rackerel is saying right here. Black people don't want to do anything about black men's reign of terror. And it is black men. It's just, let's face it, black fellas, look, that's on us. Like it or not, that is on us. That is what we need to solve. There is nobody that's going to solve us but us. So before you get mad at all the external factors outside the community, you need to start looking at your fellow man first. Let's just put it that way. Here we go. Oh, by the way, I dropped the link just in case somebody wants to come up. Here we go.
Stitches, and a lot of people, if you see something, you should say something.
You got to get rid of this no snitch policy.
Ricky Floyd believes that street code also exists in Frazier, where he's a pastor. 3 homicides last year near his church on North Watkins remain unsolved.
We have unfortunately formed a culture in too many inner cities where we're protecting the criminal now.
Even in the most callous crimes.
Didn't I say that? Didn't I say that before? They protect criminals on and off YouTube. People just like Obsidian, there are other people like him online doing the exact same thing. And instead of people banding together and say, "Hey, look, this dude got to go," they let them run. They let them run amok, and that's exactly what's going on in the community. That's exactly what's going on in our culture. We are the I wouldn't say the only culture, but we are the culture that's on top of letting our own deviants run amok. That's the problem we have. Let me keep it going.
Like the murder of a toddler. Layla Washington was fatally shot in a car on a busy road in Hickory Hill in 2017. Detectives made pleas for the public to come forward with information time and time again.
You would think that a 2-year-old innocent child, with her entire life ahead of her, someone would be so outraged that the phones will be blowing up, especially through Crime Stoppers. And that simply has not been the case.
It took 2 years for investigators to finally get the tip they needed to make an arrest. 2 years.
So what do we
Oh. So let's see. There they are. Took 2 years to get that tip. Well, fellas,
Years.
So, what do we do to get more people to speak up?
Well, I think we just got to have better interaction between the police and the citizens. Trust factor.
money, but lots of it. Lots of money. People are going to want to leave. I mean, people are going to need to leave, and people are going to want to leave. Welcome to the house, New Diamond. Rack Girls in the house. Tevin's in the house. Gold Reflection is in the house. That's the only thing you have to give. See, the thing is this: the police department's going to have like a $500 million budget just to move people who so-called snitch out of the area. You got to have that kind of budget. Maybe not 500 million. I mean, not 500. I mean, let's say, let me be real. I'd say 300 million. $300 million budget. $300 million budget. Yep, that'll do it. It's like, look, you won't be here anymore. Um, where you want to live? Because if you got the goods, and we need to clean up the neighborhood. But I'm telling you right now, though, snitching is going to. They're going to be putting up cameras, drones, and I'm all for it. We can. Oh, look, our privacy is being our rights. They're flowing all these drones around the neighborhood. If you could hear them, because these, high end drones, you don't hear shit. They're too high. They're too high, far up in the air, and their cameras are too good. They see everything. I expect this is what's going to happen. There are going to be some drones that can hear really well too. When they hear gunfire, they can lock in on where it's coming from and find out who it is. Swoop down and take photos and pictures and stuff. Stuff like that. I know it's high. I know y'all think I'm dreaming. I'm not. Watch, it's coming out soon. Here we go. A couple of years ago. Don't know who did it. Finally, she woke up and moved out. Bars. I am so happy to hear that, Phoenix Soul. That is such a great idea. Here we go.
Is a big issue.
Memphis Police Major Webb Kirkdorfer says there are many reasons why crimes remain unsolved.
Time of day, whether there's cameras, how many witnesses it have, what those witnesses saw.
But he believes those pockets of unsolved homicides you see on the map are a mere coincidence.
Do you think that still exists, that street code?
I'm not sure if there's a street code that exists that would prevent good citizens from coming forward and providing us information on any type of crime. I think the good law-abiding citizens in this city are not going by any code. I think if they have information, they will call and provide it to us.
Memphis police adopted methods.
Exactly. Like I said before, the only people I hear bragging about, oh, you a snitch or you this or that, are criminals. People who want a clean neighborhood. Look, dude's down the street. I saw him drop the gun around the corner. Shoot, forget that.
It's like Crime Stoppers to allow the public to report information. A good
They say snitches get stitches, but you know something? quite honestly, that's not wrong, right? Because if there are enough snitches, there are going to be some riches because your property value goes up, the safety of the safety of your area goes up. See, that stitches thing is gonna be dropped in a minute. I'm gonna think of something.
Good start, according to this U.S. Department of Justice report. It notes nationwide there's a mixture of factors that keep communities silent, like racial disparities, failures of the criminal justice system that allow dangerous criminals to continue to walk the street.
Exactly. Walk the street and everywhere else. Here we go.
And a lack of police protection if the perpetrator gets out. We don't know what tips, if any, have been provided to police in Triplett's murder or in the drive-by shootings on this mother's block. Until an arrest is made, the message is clear.
If somebody knows anything,
Yep. That's what's gonna happen. That's what's that it's crazy, but I'm gonna keep it going. Let me break it down with this. You know what's funny to me though? A lot of these red pill dudes, they're friends with criminals. They really
shoot
are.
ourselves in our own foots, right? And that brings me to this thing about snitching.
Let me pause that for a minute because I want to see. I want this one right here. This is what I want right here.
Yes. And one more question. I'm the only one that got charged with narcotics.
Watch this.
Yes. All right, as to your
When Young Thug realized Gunna snitched on him. Oh man, see. The thing is this the best would not do anything. I repeat, not do anything that you would be worried about being snitched on.
If you had seen who shot you, would you have told police?
No,
Why?
because the type of business I'm in, it would definitely hurt my business. And the way that I was raised, I just don't do that. I was raised differently, not to tell.
I know it was you, Fredo. You broke my heart. You broke my heart.
So you wouldn't tell them I need a police emergency?
Come on, Anton. Come on
No.
now.
Oh my God. A scammer and a loser. Here we go, though. Here we go.
Oh,
bro,
you
no.
say you from the hood now.
No.
What you want to turn out to be a snitch?
I saw a video that I had to share with you guys. We're going to be talking about snitching today. Snitching, I know it happens in all communities, but we're talking about the Black community today. And I have a question for you guys at the end. I have a question in the Your worst enemy could be your best
Okay, let
friend.
me pause that for a minute. Go forward a little bit. Okay, here we go.
You who's supposed to support you. You think that those are the ones who would not betray you, but those about you, they know your life, they know your, and the people who you think are your enemies sometimes turn out to be your best friend. They turn out to be the ones that help save you from something. Which brings me to today's topic, snitching. So I came across this video recently that got my mind percolating, and I wanted to share this video with you. I'm sure if many of you watch YouTube, you've probably seen it, or you've seen it, just share it on WhatsApp or whatever. But it's a video by Anton Daniels. And the video was so interesting. I saw it on a YouTube short that I thought I would share it with my audience so we can have a discussion about this. I wanted to have this conversation because one of the things I often hear from the Black community is we want a safer community. We want a community where our kids can thrive, where we don't have to worry about being SHOT when we go outside, that sort of thing. And I just started to think about why we're so on code with this a snitch culture, right? In the sense that we don't believe in accountability, where we will remain silent when we know somebody is an assailant, someone has hurt somebody. Oh, let's just jump right in because it's a quick video and I want you all to hear it.
Me and you together, dude run up on us, carjack us or something like that, I get shot, but I'm still alive. You calling the police or no?
I'm not gonna want to call the police if I'm shooting. They gonna ask you need.
Is that something or something? Why is he shooting in the first? Well, number one. Oh, let me just let it roll. Let the
The police emergency or fire truck.
So you wouldn't tell him I need a police emergency?
Come on, Anton. Come on now.
No, bro.
You
No.
say you from the hood now.
No.
What y'all want me to turn out to be a snitch? Oh, come on, Anton.
Nope. Listen, I love y'all, but I have to make myself a priority because y'all don't love me the same way that I love y'all. And if
first of all, he's not capable of loving anybody. It doesn't. Is this is that that's actually? Let me keep it going here. Why is that showing up on the other screen? Yeah.
my life is on the line, I need you to call the police, and you unwilling to do it because you keeping it too real for me. I got a wife, I got a daughter, and I don't need, I don't need nobody hesitating over me. People will sit there and say, "No, Anton, you got to continue to be for the Black community." Man, that.
Y'all asking me.
Wait, let me pause this for a minute. I'm getting some weird stuff on my screen. What do y'all see on the screen right now? Do you see a woman in orange, or do you see R. Kelly? Let me know. Put that in the chat right now. I got to make sure things are. Maybe there's something going on with this. Oh, I found out. I found it. I found the problem. There we go. Okay, we good. We good. Okay, we're good. Here we go.
Be a snitch. Y'all want me to be formed to a snitch?
I'm asking you to save my life.
Woo! That last line right there. Hold up.
Y'all asking me to be a snitch. Y'all want me to be formed to a snitch?
I'm asking you to save my life.
I mean, to me, it's like that shows you right there how dense some people are. That's crazy. What am I going to do if I'm shooting?
Last line right there. I'm asking you to save my life. I watched this video. It's very short, right? It's just a short little clip, and I'm sure it's a part of a much larger conversation, but that's the clip that I am reacting to today, right? Because I don't know who the gentleman is, who he is interviewing, but it just kind of blows my mind.
Just another idiot. Just keep it going. Here we go.
The thinking, right? Because if we're riding together, like this is what Anton is saying, I guess they're supposed to be friends. And he says, if he gets hit, like, are you going to call the cops? You're going to call, ambulance. You're going to call the authorities to help me. And he was like, no, because he's trying to stay on code. And it's like, who are you staying on code for? So a lot of times you hear in the community, snitches get stitches. And it's just like a warning to anyone who is thinking about talking or going to the police, that there is some danger on the other side, or there are repercussions, physical harm repercussions for you if you open your mouth to the authorities. And it's just insane that to think that I could be riding with someone, I could be a friend of someone. I don't know the circumstances, right? I don't know if they ride, and y'all know what riding mean, if they about to pull up on somebody or roll up on somebody. But I just don't get how you could be with someone, you see them get hit, they get hurt, and you don't even think to call the authorities. You would watch.
Welcome to the hood. Welcome to the hood. In most cases, I do know that people will call at least 911. But the issue is that the crime in our community is going to start to increase after these guys know that they have a 50-50 chance of getting away with it. So I don't want to hear anything from the chocolate red pill until they solve that problem because quite honestly, if all the men in the chocolate red pill became snitches in our community, crime would drop by about 45%. Just the guys in the red pill. The problem is they are part of the problem. I've seen them. I've seen some of their records. These are not good men.
Watch your partner die, like your friend die, your family member die, just so you don't get this label of being a snitch. It's just the craziest thing to me. And I just started to really question like where this whole culture of not snitching came from. And it's not something that it's exclusive to the Black community. We hear all the time, like for example, if you watch like the movies, especially like mob movies, they talk about rats. You can't be a rat, right? If you're in
And that's the funny thing. See, it has been it has been imprinted in our young men. We have literally we have literally trained our younger men with and without music to respect criminals, gangsters. You know, when you have that kind of influence, how are you going to fix anything? I like to kick a shout out to Mystic Moon, called Reflection, Pretty Bones. Phoenix is in the Phoenix is in the house, along with Phoenix Soul in the house, Mistress Newbie in the house, New Diamond in the house. I hope she's safe. Kevin's in the house. Here we go. See, this is the thing. We are not on, it's not about being on code, it's being on the right code. Okay. Instead of being on the gangster code, like 2/3 of the hip hop artists who sold poison to the communities only to make money off of us later on legally. What happened to the old school saying, instead of snitches get stitches? How about the old school saying and a very famous and good movie, do the right thing? Nope, don't want to do that, do you?
in this game,
But you want to be respected as men. That's the weird thing. You want to do the wrong thing, but then you still want respect. How does that work?
right? If you're in this game, I suppose, of um, selling narcotics, or you're just in a sort of like an underclass lifestyle, you're in some sort of bad lifestyle, then I guess there are
Right. Are famous cons in hip hop that are men. Literally all of them have a criminal record. So obviously, if they didn't serve a long time in prison, somebody didn't snitch on them. Who knows how many people, how many lives they destroyed? And we're sitting here, yeah, yeah, go Diddy, yeah, 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 go Jeezy, yeah, yeah, R. Kelly, yeah, 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 Jay Z. Just those guys alone, just those four guys there, just those four have probably destroyed more than 1,000 lives, directly or indirectly. So what's up with that?
are some street codes that you have to adhere to. I'm not even interested in this lifestyle, so I don't, because I don't want to have to adhere to any of this code or any of this stuff. So I'm not even interested in that sort of lifestyle, right? But I think the thing that really, really bothers me is when it spills over to people who are not in this lifestyle, right? So you witness something happening in your community. You have to live in this community you're seeing people doing wrong inside of your community, and you are determined to say absolutely nothing. I've watched so many reports of children being uh, unalived inside of their communities, inside their neighborhoods, innocent kids who are either walking home from school or they were home doing home.
Exactly. Exactly. Everybody, don't forget to hit the like button. It's free. It's free 99. It's free 99 for it to hit the like button. Here we go.
Homework, or they whatever. You always see these little shrines in the inner city communities of kids who have been um unalived by some assailant, right? And it's like, do I think for one second that there aren't people who know who committed these crimes? Of course not. Everybody who is tied to that knows who did what, but they will not say.
Right. They do. I mean, there's really, quite honestly, when it comes to things like that, when it comes to the deletions, quite honestly, there's only really a handful of people who are the primaries, you know. So delete it has to do with not only deletions, but come on now, we just been talking about deletions. We're talking about abuse. We're talking about DV. We're talking about assault. You know, those two. And usually the same people who do all those other things will do the deletion. So we need to just clean the streets, and nobody wants to do that. They want to complain about it, but they don't want to do anything about it. That's why I cannot stand the manosphere, because they would have been a perfect tool for 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 getting rid of crime, but they do the exact opposite. The exact opposite. Another example, Obsidian. I guarantee you, he was doing raw shit on the streets as well,
Say anything because they don't
in my opinion.
want to be perceived as a snitch. And a lot of these folks aren't even in gangs. It's just like they're adhering to this code for what reason, I don't even know. Why are you adhering to a code, a gang code, when you're not even a part of a gang? Now, let me just
Because it's easier for our community, unfortunately, right now. Not our community and make up a reason. Oh, you stepped on my foot, instead of just being good, upstanding gentlemen. Now they want to be seen as upstanding gentlemen, but they're not being upstanding gentlemen. Let me keep this going.
talk a little bit about why I think some people do it. I think that there are some Black folks who have a general distrust of police officers, of authorities. They don't trust them one bit. They feel like whatever they say can come on, right? That they're going to call even if they know something. So there's the distrust factor there. Also, where if somebody came forth to say that they saw something and they're willing to go to court, those people might not even make it to court, right? And so for a lot of people who are here, they're not going because they don't have a trust of the police officers. They're not going to go to them, and then they're fearful of retribution. They're fearful of retaliation. That if that person knows that they were the person who snitched on them or whatever, that of course there are repercussions. Their families could be affected, especially if they have kids involved or older people involved. It's not just them; their whole family can be hurt by it.
I mean, that just shows you how these people feel deep enough to seek retribution from the person who did the right thing. That's crazy. That's sad.
But I just don't, and while I understand those things, it's just so tough for me to reconcile knowing that someone has hurt another person and just being quiet about it, right? Or knowing that something is about to go down and you don't say anything. Like you can report things anonymously, right? You can report things anonymously. A lot of times people want credible tips, and sometimes you have to go in court, and I can understand why people don't want to do that because there's a fear factor. But I just don't get why we have this, we're adhering to these sort of gang codes about not snitching, and we think that that's just like so funny. Like the way people talk about it is like, oh yeah, you know, oh, he is snitch, and for what?
No snitching. What about, I can't let you come in my neighborhood and run it down, bro. Nah, you can't sell that shit. These kids over here overdosing. Bro, you stand across the street selling Percocet pills across the street from the middle school, dog. Your trap set up right here. Why you ain't standing on that?
Do you know how many Black men are sitting in jail right now because they refuse to snitch on somebody? I remember when Lil Kim, the rapper Lil Kim, went to jail. And I mean, it's like the culture was so proud of her for not saying anything. They were so happy that, like, Kim, boy, Kim, a real one. She a real one. She kept her mouth closed. It's like, but you went to jail. You know what I mean?
Right, and this is the funny thing is they destroyed that woman. They destroyed that woman. It's crazy to me.
You went to jail. You had to serve some time. Like, and this is something to be proud of, that she stayed on code, but she went to jail. Like, it's just crazy. And then if you're somebody who has a family, you'd rather keep your mouth pinned up. You'd rather be quiet about this thing rather than just speaking your piece. And I look at it the other way. I look at us remaining silent as saying that we condone what happens in our communities. We condone the violence. And there are some people who don't believe in going to the police officers. They don't believe in going to authorities to get justice. They believe in street justice. And so then you have this cycle of violence that just continues endlessly because someone's going to get this one back for doing this, and this person's going to get that person back. And it just never, ever stops. And I'm not saying that
Sandy Red is in the house. Sandy Red is in the house. Phoenix Soul is here. Phoenix is here. Pretty Bones is here. The Rack Girl is here. Everybody's here. Mystic Moon is here. I'm glad to see everybody in the house. If you're in the house, don't forget to put something in the chat so I can see you. Here we go.
going to the authorities immediately works. But what I'm saying is, if you create an environment and a culture of accountability where people know, hey, listen, I can't hide in this neighborhood. I can't hide here because people are always watching and people are always talking. I feel like it would make a dent in crime in some way, shape, or form. But watching this video, it's very, very quick. And I'm so happy with what Anton said. You know, you just can't roll with everybody. And that's why you really have to be very careful about the company you keep. And it's not always easy because, like I said in the beginning, and you never know who is the person who's going to betray you. The person who knows all your secrets, they know how you move, they know when you move, they know what time you get off from work. Sometimes those people can be the very ones who set you right up for the kill. And it's just so sad. I'm not going to ask any of you if you've ever snitched on anyone, but what I will say is, if given the opportunity to tell someone or to warn someone about some impending doom, some impending disaster, something, you know, would you say something? Would you?
I think we need to redefine the word snitch, number one. Snitching, it's funny. Like I said, all the other cultures don't even see snitching as snitching. They don't even, they don't, that's a word that criminals, and we built our community around allowing criminals to run amok. That's how I see it. That is how I see it. Let me break it down like this.
We shoot ourselves in our own foots, right? And that brings me to this thing about snitching. Now we know in the Black community there is a no snitch policy. Like, even from a biblical standard, you should mind your business and stay out of other people's business. You don't want to be that person that is telling on people, and you seen people doing things and you just telling and be.
Right now, he's already kind of like not making it confusing for his message. Obviously, the point of somebody snitching is for something egregious. Okay, not I don't do I think people I mean, it's like this. I understand you gotta mind your own business, but other cultures don't do that, and look at them. They're flourishing. So it's funny that he's literally how should I put it? Criticizing a business model that has worked in every other culture. Okay? It has worked in every other culture. Now, do they tell on do they, do other cultures tell on other people if they're cheating or not? Some do, some don't. Kind of like the same of our culture. But for everything else, selling weed, drugs, or whatever, they on the phone. Okay. And unfortunately, the bottom line is this is that whose business model is working better? Theirs or ours? So which business model should we be trying to adapt? Theirs or ours? You see how simple that is? Now he's trying to make it confused because something tells me he's done things that he didn't know I want to be snitched on. That's my assumption.
Being a mini police. You don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
But what about the
No, no,
whole
no,
idea?
no, no, no. You do want to be a mini police. You want to make the police's job easier. When it I'm not talking about your friends smoking weed when they don't not supposed to. I'm not talking about shit like that. I'm talking about stuff that you know was wrong. Theft and worst. That's what I'm talking about. Especially when it's done to another person in our community. Here we go.
Idea of snitching or the idea of not saying anything when it's right. I'm gonna get to this point, right? Because the definition of snitching for me is when you did a crime, somebody else did a crime, y'all both caught, but then you throw that person under the bus in order to save yourself. And now you don't have to deal with the consequences of your actions because you told on somebody and now they're locked up for something that you did when you should be in there too. To me, that's what snitching is. Now,
Look,
snitching,
quite honestly, I understand the point he's saying. So what he's saying is like when two men do the crime and they both one of them or both of them get caught and then the other one doesn't want to go in for as long as he wants to go in. I'm like, fine, dude. Dude, I mean, I understand his point, but doing the thing is this is that I'll take a snitch from any angle, even another criminal who did something wrong. As long as they get the guy in the prison, I don't care. Both of them should go. Both of them usually do go. It was a deletion that happened, or some assault that happened. I can't say it was a deletion because I can't remember, but I do remember this. The guy the guy who did it got like 20 years. The guy who snitched got 18 years. Fine, they both go. Well, why even be mad at that? But let's see what else this guy has to say. Here we go.
snitching is not when something happens to you. Let's just say you got your neighbor on camera breaking into your car, your shed or something, and taking something. Now you got two choices. You can either go see about it and run it and do what you got to do, and things go haywire, somebody get killed or whatever, or you could call the police and say, "Look, here's the film. This is what happened." That's up to you. See, this is where it comes into play of using your brain and not being emotional, not getting caught up in your emotions and using your logic. I think a lot of times in our community, we hurt each other, We are unalived by one another because we don't even know how to deal with one another. In the heat of the moment, we cannot play out what's going to happen. We cannot play out a consequence. We're just full of emotion, especially black men.
Boom. There it is, folks. There's a pro-black brother saying exactly what I've been saying. He's here for his black men, but he's telling the truth. Over again. Right there. Boom.
We cannot play out consequence.
Let me go back.
We just cannot play out what's going to happen. We don't even know how to deal with one another. In the heat of the moment, we cannot play out what's going to happen. We cannot play out a consequence. We're just full of emotion, especially black men. Very emotional.
I thought it was women who were emotional and black men were supposed to be logical. I guess that was just not true. I guess that was just not true. Shout out to Phoenix Soul. Thanks for the $2 super chat. Caring culture is predicated on snitching. Bars. Tevin, what's Tevin saying? What's Tevin saying? Phoenix Soul, thank you so much again for your support and your knowledge, doggone it. In fact, let me go ahead. Let me see what Tevin has to say. For those y'all who do snitch, please make sure y'all protected. Yep, I would say so. The key is to do that covert snitching. You know, that's the key. Jizzy B says this: can't snitch if you in the game. If you're just a citizen, you can snitch. Bars. I actually agree with him. That is true. That is true. And the key is to be a citizen. Don't be in the game. Because one day the game's going to get lame. And it's going to be just another shame. I hear that, Sandy Red. See, I think that's what's going on, really, and why the manosphere has evolved and has become what it is now. Because I do believe that black women are solely be in the game. For every one Krishan Rock, there's probably about 10 other black women that just want to go to the office and make that money. I'm missing Boo. Why are you gonna dog me like that? Why are you gonna dog me like that? You know, as old school brothers, we always like to we don't rap, we just rhyme, and sometimes that happens all the time. You know. you know. I'm from the back in the day when I remember, let's put it this way. I remember when Rapper's Delight was released. I used to love that song. Goom, 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 goom. Yep. Yep, that was the beat. Anyway, let me stop reminiscing. Here we go.
Strong, hard exterior on the outside, but very, very emotional. A lot of y'all are raised by women, so you have the emotions of a woman, and it shows.
The funny thing is this: is that see, you notice how he tried to blame women again. For some reason, these red pillars always try to do that. The bottom line is this: a man is a man. Even when there's a man around in a family, the woman still raises all the children. So if that's the case, why are you blaming a woman if she's doing it solo? Could that be a factor sometimes? Yeah, but it's not a common factor. The factor is that men that's more of an XY gene thing. It's not has it has nothing to do with who raised you because after you get around, if in that case, then all the men would be dressing up in dresses then. If it was really because of who raised them. Men men are men are weak because men are weak, not because of the women. Because think about it. Who was following when these guys grow up and then they get into a gang, they don't get in makeup or the best heels, they get in the gang for violence. It's predicated on a gene. That's what it is.
Shows, especially a lot of these brothers in gangs. I'm in Southern California and I've seen it my whole life. You develop this emotional rage, and then you have the courage. What gives you the courage?
Which is male emotional rage. Now it's the feelings. No, it's just male. Women are much more reserved. Women are much more level-headed than men in our community. The stats bear it out. Look who's going to prison and look who's not in our community. If women were so emotional, like this guy's saying, if women were so out of control, knowing that there are more women than men in our community, there would be more women in prison than men in our community. That's not the case. This is a problem with men. And part of it is no snitching.
Courage also is the drugs, to go put in some work, to go hurt somebody, to go rob a house, a home invasion, whatever.
What is he talking about? See, okay, let me keep it going.
But the case may be a drive-by, whatever the case may be. It's a very emotional state to be in. And a lot of people will look at that like he's hard, he's rough, he's tough. He like don't mess with that dude. But in reality, he's just a child. He's a grown.
Okay, why is Mystic Moon roasting me so hard tonight? I don't know what. Let me drop the link just in case somebody wants to come up. I got a little bit longer go. Okay, I'll stop. Okay, so let me get this right. Okay, this is kind of off topic. Okay. I take it that y'all don't want me to sing. And I take it you don't want me to rhyme either. So okay, I guess I'll just stick to telling stories and stuff. But I I understand, I guess. I understand. If anybody wants to hear me sing, hit 1 in the chat. If you don't want to hear me sing, hit 2 in the chat. Let's get this out of the way right now. Because while you guys do that, I'm gonna warm up my voice. You know, I'm gonna warm up my voice. One to hear me sing, 2 to not hear me sing. Let's go for it. Let's see what's going on here. Phoenix says 1. It may be a good night for you. Okay. No singing tonight. No singing tonight. Let's get back on track. Let's get back on track. Phoenix says this: gangsters are demons in initiation. They got jumped in or swindled in, and it's a repetition hurt. People don't understand that they have control. Exactly. All people don't get hurt for that. Bars. bars. The rat girl says, "I'm not sure if I've heard you sing. I sing after my therapy sessions." Well, if I sing, rat girl, if I sing, you'll probably need to go to another therapy session. Let me keep it going. Here we go. Okay. So anyway,
because he has no intelligence. And so that goes back to what I'm saying. Like when it comes to you,
so okay, so he's saying that men don't have emotional intelligence. So if all men know this, then why do they keep blaming women for all the problems in our community? Because basically we do a poor job doing it, but we do run the community because we use brute force to run the community. Otherwise, it wouldn't be such a bad community, would it? So we should try to, fix that problem. So little things like, so things like this don't happen. No, I'm not going to play that one. Let me, let me, let me play something fun. Hold on one second. In fact, let me go back. Let me go back. To this for a second. Where is it? Did I play this one? Okay.
Is snitches. Do snitches really get stitches? Let's find out and take it to the streets. All right, basically, what's your definition of a snitch?
My definition of a snitch, I would say anybody who basically do some dirt with somebody, and then when the heat start coming down on them, they're the first person to speak up on some shit instead of just keeping their mouth closed. Like, I've been in cases where people like been in situations where somebody don't have even the whole story together, but yet because the dude's all nervous, not knowing what all scary and shit, he start running his mouth. So being a snitch is just somebody who basically is a scary ass nigga who just quick to try to be the first person to tell on some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Tell on some shit. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of them out here, you know what I'm saying? And niggas ain't getting dealt with, so niggas are getting comfortable with like it's cool now. But I think the same rules still apply, yo. You know what I'm saying? The snitches get stitches, all right? Done deal.
My definition of snitch is somebody who partake in something, and then when it go wrong, they want to tell. I really respect it more if you don't partake in it at all. Just tell the person you don't want to do it instead of trying to be cool. Now, because once you put your hand in the cookie jar and it go wrong, then you consider a snitch. You know what I mean? But
Okay. So I see there's a large following that wants to hear me sing. What do you guys want to hear? What do you guys want to hear? Let's see. What song should I sing? What song should I sing? And then we'll get back to the snitches thing. Which song should I sing to the snitches thing? Oh, I got a new beat. I got a new beat. Which song should I sing to this snitches thing? When you talk about, oh man, I sound good. Damn, I sound good. Okay, let me stop. Here we go. Man, I know you guys want to hear more, but I'm sorry. I have to just, keep my talents, under wraps for a little bit longer until my platinum album comes out.
if that's not your lifestyle, then we respect that too. That's it.
All right, your definition of the word snitch.
Talking to the police and you telling on somebody that did something wrong. Other people that doing something wrong go call you a snitch. I guess it mainly came from jail or prison. It's bad to be a snitch.
Right. Jail and prison. That's where it comes from. So I see that everybody loved my singing so much, you know, but my mixtape is dropping. Oh, what was Sandy Red saying? What was Sandy Red saying? Have you ever seen a certified good on Judge Oprah? I gotta bring that up, Sandy Red. Um, yeah, you all are your avatars are slamming tonight. I just have to say. Bridget. He's like, oh, what was that? Oh man. Oh man. I mean, come on now. You didn't like my track? You didn't like my track? Okay, I'll go back to here we go.
Yeah, that's what I think. Would you ever snitch on somebody? I try to stay away from anything bad. Anything bad. Yes, sir. Right. All right.
What do you mean? What's that? If you go snitch, you must get stitches.
All right. What's your definition of a snitch?
Of a snitch, somebody that's running their mouth when they're not supposed to be running their mouths.
All right. So, do you have to know somebody to be a snitch?
Not necessarily. You could just hear it through the grapevine and be running your damn mouth.
Is that being a snitch or being helpful?
Oh, I heard it through the grapevine. So good, don't you be mine. What do you think? What do you guys think? What do you think? One, if you love my singing. Two, if you prefer me not to sing anymore. Let me just put it that way. Come on. I mean, she said it. The rat girl, she seems mailed out. Yeah, you could tell. You could tell. Oh, Phoenix, way to go. Let's see. Never on Sunday. No, I better not. I'd ruin that song. I like that song too much. I like that song too much. Here we go.
That's being a snitch.
All right. So you never snitch on anybody.
It's not in my character.
I like your glasses. I like your earrings, and I like your hairstyle.
My definition of a snitch is a person that is telling information that is not their business, or if I've shared a secret and you blab your mouth.
So the funny thing is this: what is your business? I mean, if you're in the community and you're trying to protect your fellow community people, and you see something raw go down, I mean, again, weed smoking, maybe jaywalking, you know, making out at the park when you're not supposed to. That I understand. But the key word when people do snitching, when snitching comes into play, is usually when somebody did something really wrong, like breaking into your car or beating somebody up or worse. So this is the problem we have in the community right here. We're trying to seem proud and happy about not snitching.
Do you know any snitches?
Yes.
All right.
No, and I also think being a snitch, for the most part, 80% bad, but 20% good. Sometimes you need to be a snitch to, help the economy, the environment, or just your neighborhood.
Now she's trying to clean it up, huh? Mystic Moon breaks it down like this. So if I delete 3 people, is that considered my business? Exactly. Girl, bye. Yep, you nailed it. You nailed it. Okay, everybody, you can take the earmuffs off your ear. I'm not going to sing anymore tonight. Let me play a little bit more. Here we go.
I appreciate you. Thank you. And there you have it. What's the definition of a snitch? I don't know. But what
I do. Let me break it down. This is what a snitch is. First of all, a snitch is obviously in its most raw form is somebody who tells on somebody else for something the other person did. But what we do in the community is we make it sound like a bad thing. If you were in another community and you saw somebody rob somebody's purse or pickpocket, and you told somebody else, look, he's stealing something, or she's stealing something, or whatever, right? Those people would look up to you, but not in our community. Isn't it? Don't you find that weird? That in our community, for some reason, snitches are supposed to get stitches. Let me tell you, something else. That rhyme doesn't fly in other communities. And the only reason I'm bringing up other communities is because we have to use other communities as a benchmark. Do you want to live in their community where it's all quiet and safer, right? Even though it might have a little bit ring more of, bigotry or whatever you want to call it, right? Or do you want to live in an area that has a lot of this stuff going on? Let me play something here for you.
Texas attorney is putting up a reward, 10 grand, to help catch the man who robbed her son as he was gassing up near the Oakland airport. She tells Don Lynn that what's happening in Oakland should not be normalized.
A brazen daytime robbery at a Hagenberger Road 76 gas station happened just before 2 o'clock Monday afternoon. The victim's car is the white Ford Explorer rental SUV. A four-door Infiniti pulls up. One person gets out, breaks the back window to open the door. The robbers then take luggage and belongings. Another robber walks around and points a gun at a 21-year-old victim to rob him of his bracelets and watch. The robbers also robbed the
What a proud thing for these men to be doing. So this is what no snitching does, because somebody knows them. Do you think those guys haven't been to that gas station before? No snitching at its worst. That's what it does. It's a shame. It is a shame. So the best advice I have is definitely, if you snitch, be a covert snitch. Don't be just, I ain't got to tell on you. Don't do none of that shit. Be super covert. See it. Make that 911. Let them know what's going on. Let them know what's going on. And I think I'm going to finish this off with playing a little bit more of another criminal. Here we go.
All right, guys. So I stumbled across this video I just had to share because this guy.
Okay, let me go forward.
So we need to train, nigga, some confident, snitching, tattletailing young man that ain't scared to tell on now, mother, and teach them how to fight too. So if you with them by telling, they'll kick your ass. Yeah, we need some strong snitches, nigga. And they proud of it. That way, it helped curb the violence in the communities. You got you a snitch that know how to fight, and he'll shoot that pistol too.
Fact.
But he'll snitch. Who can beat him? Not too many people. That's who you got to put up against. That's how you combat the gang violence. That's how you combat bullying. Hey, teacher, he picking on him. Yeah, tell it in front of everybody. He make it so he'll stop. He picking on him right now, teacher. It'll disrupt the class. Who doing? He here? What he doing? He just got through pinching his booty.
me hit this right here. Rat Girl says he had been arrested over 50 billion times. Yeah, and he's here talking about snitching. He did get out of jail pretty fast, so I think he you know, I think he did something, you know. Anyway, y'all. Let's see what we got here. Wait. I'm gonna hit the beat. I'm gonna hit the beat. Here we go, folks.
Money work.
All right.
El mundo quiere dinero.
All right, on there. I'm gonna kick a shout out for everybody. The Rat Girl is in the house. Phoenix Soul in the house. Phoenix is in the house. Pretty Bones in the house. Mystic Moon in the house. The Rat Girl is in the house. Dandy Red in the house. Oh, yeah. Don't forget, make sure you're here. It's going to be all the way live. We're going to keep up with everything that happened all through the week and then break it down for you. Here we go. All right, in the house, Pretty Bounds, Mystic Moon, Candy Red, Bridget Mouton, the Rat Girl, Kevin's in here somewhere, Phoenix Soul.
Money work. Yo digo las cosas como son, no quiero ninguna aceptación, tampoco vengo a pedir perdón porque mis sentimientos se
Mystic
volvieron
Moon,
la canción. Yeah,
Gold
me vale
Reflection,
mucho como tú me ves, sabes tú me llegas solo a los pies, para mí ser grande es un interés, ser un buen humano para mí
New
es un
Diamond,
el dinero ya lo veré, no vendo mi
Mr.
alma,
Snoopy,
lo lograré, seré el más grande, no olvidaré. De donde vengo ni cómo money work.
Marcy D,
El mundo quiere dinero. Money work. Se arregla con dinero. Money work. Corazón, de corazón. La plata no te hace ser feliz. Yeah, de corazón, yeah. La plata no te hace feliz. El mundo quiere dinero. Yeah. Money work.
all right, like to welcome everybody for coming through. Phoenix, Mystic, Mistress, Newbie. Here we go. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.